Hello lovelies, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. We've had about an hour without rain, yay! And the sun even peeked out for a while. It's just so happy making, especially because I had to go out, I had an appointment, needed to get out. Sun came out, I was turning my face to find the sun. Walk on the sunny side of the street, what a difference it makes. So on the subject of the weather, and goodness me, it's been so damp for so long. Not particularly cold. We've had a few cold days, not too many. It's just this dampness. It just sort of pervades one's soul almost, doesn't it? I'm going to cook something today, which is such a lovely winter warmer. This is the perfect bit of chow down for when you come back from the allotment or back from the fields, whatever you've been doing out there in the cold and damp. Come home and have a bowl of this. Have a bowl of it. Put your hands around the bowl. Warm your hands up even before you've taken your first mouthful. So it's really easy, pretty much chucking everything in one pan. And what I'm hoping for most of you is that this is going to be a store cupboard recipe. There's one treaty ingredient, but you could have the fresh version instead, it would be cheaper. But generally, I'm going to show you the ingredients now. This is a store cupboard winter warmer. Yay, there we go, we've got the title. I'm going to do a 3-bean chilli for a chilli day. So let's have a quick look at the ingredients and let's get cooking, because I do feel quite chilly. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely ingredients. So, let's start with herbs and spices and tarting it up. So I'm going to be using some coriander, some cumin, some paprika, and I realise I don't have any chilli powder, so I'm just going to be using just a few chilli flakes. If you've got chilli powder, use chilli powder. A little bit of stock powder. Oil, of course, always with a bit of olive oil. A couple of onions. Ooh, I've got 5 cloves of garlic there. Again, really chunky ones. I've been getting these chunky garlics from my local co-op. Brilliant. And then this is where the store cupboard really kicks in. Actually, let me come around the other side. So, tomato paste. I've got another one in the pantry waiting. When I get about that much, when I get down to about that much, put it this way, the last time I used it, I probably used about 1/3 of it, and that's my cue to get another one in to have in the cupboard, ready for when this runs out. 2 tins of tomatoes. Now, I'm not actually going to be using these tins of tomatoes. I will be using tomatoes from my freezer, which I took out last night to defrost. I'm just showing these tins so you get the idea that you could do this from your store cupboard. You may have your own stored tomatoes. Brilliant. If so, the equivalent of 2 tins worth. Then the stars, the 3 beans. So I'm going to be using black beans. This is the tin the chaps brought. Thank you, chaps. Suma, they're also organic. Great. Some kidney beans, red kidney beans, and then I've gone for some cannellini. I wanted a white bean. I could have gone with haricot or a little pinto bean, that sort of thing. But yeah, so 3 different beans, 3 different sort of sizes, colours, textures, shapes. Yum. And then this is the treaty bit. So with your fresh, I mean, I consider onions and garlic to be store cupboard staples. I know they don't store as long as, say, a tinned item, but yeah, I consider them to be store cupboard items rather than the fresh veggies that you buy every sort of 4 or 5 days or so. So the next one, the last one, if you have fresh peppers, great, but I'm going to be using a jar of roasted red peppers. Oh, look at those beauties. Yeah, that's a bit of a treat. It's not something I always have in the store cupboard, but every now and again I buy a jar and then a recipe like this today, I think, yep, they're going in this gorgeousness. So that's it. This should do about well, it depends how you're going to have it, but I would say anywhere between 4 and 6 portions. So if you're a family of 4, this served up with, say, rice or quinoa, great. You could have it in a jacket potato, you could have it warm in a wrap as a sort of a lunch, be a sloppy one. You need to maybe have a bib on you. But yeah, if you were having it just as a bowl for lunch on its own to warm your hands after the allotment, I reckon we're going to get 6 portions. Anyway, let's crack on, let's get cooking. First of all, prep the onions and garlic. It's the usual start for pretty much all of my recipes. Prep the onions and garlic. Warm oil, well, it's quite hot actually, I can probably turn it down a bit. Onions, garlic in. Not chopped massively fine, but smallish pieces, because this isn't going to be blended or, you know, anything like that. So, smash the onions up a bit, get them in there. I'm going to leave them, I'm going to turn that right down. I just want them to sweat down. I'll probably leave them for anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes, the usual sort of timing. And in the meantime, I'm now going to go back to the chopping board and chop up all those lovely roasted peppers. Yum, yum, yum. I'm really quite hungry and I can't wait to get my chops around this lot. This is one of those bits where prepare to get messy because they're in oil and they're like little slippery eels, but oh, so worth it. I'm then going to use the full jar. See, the thing is, the reason I'm wondering it out loud is because I'm thinking, what else would I be cooking with them if I don't use them today? Because once it's opened, they do need using. So I'm just going to pop these last 2 in. Come on. Yay! Like I said, if you were, if you didn't have these in your store cupboard and you happen to have some, perhaps they're lurking in the bottom of the fridge, feeling a little bit neglected, but still, you know, certainly fresh and punchy enough to use, and just use the fresh instead. This is just a nice texture and that little bit extra flavour from them being roasted. Or of course, you know, roast your own. If for instance you thought, oh, I fancy this next week, on Sunday I'm doing a Sunday roast, or whatever day, I'm doing a Sunday roast. I know, on the bottom shelf of the oven, I'm going to whack a load of peppers, get them roasted while the oven is on anyway, but they will be added shortly. Once the onions are sweated down a bit, then we can start putting it all together, and soon we'll get to the stage where we can walk away. Okay, that's had long enough now. Oh, let me see if I can adjust the light a bit. Lovely, so they've softened, gone translucent. Wonderful. And now this is the bit I love. Let's start with the alchemy. So I've got here 3 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of coriander, 1 teaspoon of the smoked paprika, and just a pinch of the chilli flakes, because I think they're quite warm, these chilli flakes. I don't want this to be hot, as I've mentioned in previous videos. So, oh, and it's an immediate sensation as they hit that those warm, oily mushrooms. Oh my goodness. So just let them be for, I'm just going to do this for a minute or so. Those spices then will release their own oils, those gorgeous aromatics. Oh, it's so lovely. And you know, even just doing this, when you've gotten a bit cold, chilly, whatever, when you've come in, to just stand over this pan, getting these wafts of these beautiful spices, oh, psychologically I feel warmer already. Okay. Now let's get our peppers in. I think actually if you were using, I was going to say if you were using fresh peppers maybe, no, if you were using fresh peppers I'd put them in at this stage as well. Give it a good stir, let everything get coated. And now that real sweetness of the roasted peppers is assailing my nose. Oh, gorgeous. Just give that a minute, let them really get those spices properly covering them. Just looking for my water. And now for the tomato puree, so it's about three tablespoons. I mean, it's not, you don't have to be dead accurate. I basically used what was left in that tube. I think it's more like 3.5, but I'm not going to keep half a tablespoon in the tube. Okay, let's get that all blended together. And I'm just going to leave this now for about 5 minutes to let those spicy flavours really marinate together. So lid back on, give it 5 minutes and then we'll come back and start adding the last bits. Goody goody. Right, now time to get the tomatoes in and a bit of stock. So just 1, 2 levelish teaspoons. Oh, sorry, clunky clanky. And then the tomatoes, so these were frozen. I pulverised them to freeze them. That's why it looks a bit, looks like not quite passata. Get this all mushed in together. So now what I want to do is bring this up to the simmer before I add the beans. The tomatoes, obviously they've come from the fridge, so they were a bit cold. Yours should come, if you're using tin, yours should come up to the simmer more quickly because they'll be more like room temperature. So for now I'm going to pop the lid on again, let that come up to the simmer before I put the beans in, and then we're nearly there. Good, it's just starting to bubble again. So let's grab our lovely beans. Oh, am I going to fit them all in the pan? So, oh gosh, light again. So we've got black beans, red kidney beans and cannellini beans. And they are actually, they felt a bit chilly just as I touched them to get them in. Oh, that's because when I drained them from the tins, I then ran them under cold water to rinse them. So it's going to just lower the temperature again. But now at this stage I'm just going to make sure everything's really well mixed together, and it's just going to simmer very gently. Well, I'm going to try and find a gentle simmer on this dashed electric hob. But yeah, we want a gentle simmer and leave it uncovered 20 minutes. It will be 20 minutes minimum. Ideally it's more like sort of half an hour, 40 minutes if you can bear to wait that long. If you think it's getting a little bit dry, quickly boil the kettle and add some hot water. You could always cover it. Actually, I haven't got as much liquid in there as I had previously. It might not have been quite full in terms of those tomatoes that were in the freezer. So in any case, I'm going to pop the lid back on for now to retain that heat to have it come back up to the simmer, and then I'm just going to let it bubble away, probably for half an hour. In the meantime, I can get on with all the washing up and then we can reconvene and stuff our faces. Well, I can stuff my face. Oh, yum. I actually turned the heat off about 5 minutes ago, but these, obviously cast iron retains the heat. Now it's actually been on for 40 minutes because, well, I did the washing up, drying up, putting away, great. But I've also ended up taking 2 phone calls to do with the building and having to write 2 emails. So, but actually, I mean, I think it does well for a longer cook, simmer. What are we doing with it? Cooking it. Right, let's get some served up. Beautiful colours, aren't they? Colours. So I'm going to have, I'm just going to do 1 ladle for now, because this is sort of late lunch. Oh no, let's not be mean. 2 generous ladles full. Okay, let's go and scoff. Just what the doctor ordered for a damp, drizzly, mizzly day. Fluff it, Vivi. That's so enveloping. Remember what I was saying about the bowl? Yes, hold the bowl. It's so lovely. It's just comfort, isn't it? With the spices, it's almost like, because they're not hot, they're warming. I purposely don't make it hot, but it's like those spices sort of, they hold the food up. So we've got this lovely spices holding it up and warming it, and then that lovely kind of heartiness of the beans, and then it's all punctuated by the sweetness of the peppers and the tomatoes, and then over the top of all that, like a little duvet, that smoked paprika giving its kind of smoky layer. Oh, just heavenly. It's actually really hot. It's gorgeous. It's dead simple, and like I said, hopefully most of that is in your store cupboard. You could knock it up this afternoon. Actually, I've given myself too big a portion for lunch. I will remove some, have it later for my dinner. But like I was saying right at the beginning, serve it up with rice or quinoa for the whole family or for yourself. Pop it in a jacket potato if potatoes are your thing. Try not to do potatoes, but every now and again a jacket potato, ooh, lovely with that inside it. You could do it in tacos. Give yourself, some sour cream, some guac maybe. Served like this. Quite often in the past, I like it with a bit of cottage cheese on the top. I know some people might think that's random, but it's that lovely cool creaminess of the cheese with all the warmth and the spices. Works an absolute treat. Anyway, you know how you like to eat chilli. Make yourself a big pot of 3-bean chilli. Wrap your hands around the bowl. Get it scoffed and feel that food working wonders on you to warm both your bones and your soul and your heart. Lovely. Right, I'm going to get scoffing. I hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you again soon. I'm not sure for what, but I will see you again soon. So in the meantime, stay cozy, hug your bowls, stay well. Until the next one, cheerio.